Today we're talking about Learning Target 3.2 Level 9. We're going to be taking those notes. Afterwards, there's a Socrative practice just for some extra trial and error with this because you do have a 3.2 quiz tomorrow, so we want you to be super prepared. So go ahead and grab something to write with and your notebook, and let's get started. Here's everything you need for example 1. Make sure you write down the word problem, leave a space for the equation, create that table, and create that graph. Here's our first word problem. Haley planted her tomato plant 3 inches below the ground. Every 2 weeks, it grows 1 inch. So the first thing we need to do, we're gonna fill in our table first, but we need to figure out the beginning. Haley planted her tomato plant 3 inches below the ground. That's where the whole problem starts. And so our y-intercept is 0. And then if it's 3 inches below the ground, that means we're somewhere in the negative. So at week 0, her plant is -3 inches tall. It says right here, every 2 weeks, so we're gonna look on our week side, and we're gonna add 2 every time. Because every 2 weeks, so after 2 weeks, how tall will it be? After 4 weeks, how tall will it be? After 6 weeks, how tall will it be? It grows 1 inch. So on this side, we are adding 1 every time. So when it starts, it's -3 inches below the ground, then it's -2 inches below the ground, then it's -1 inches below the ground, and then boom, it's gonna hit the surface or the ground. If we went one more set, it would finally be above the ground. So there's our table. Let's go ahead and graph it. We see that our y-intercept is -3. And we see our next point is 2, -2. So I'm going to go over 2 and -2. And then we have 4, -1. And then we have 6, 0. That's when the plant hits the ground. And then after 8 weeks, it's finally sprouting above the ground. So we can go ahead and connect this with a nice straight long line. And let's talk about the equation. It's always y equals. And then let's look at the slope. We can look at the graph or we can look at the table. If we look at the graph, we are going up 1 and we are going to the right 2. And so we know our slope is 1 over 2. You can also look at the table. We're adding 1 every time on the y side and we're adding 2 every time on the x side. So there's your 1/2 with the x. And then our y-intercept, we can always look here. We can always look here. It's also where everything starts, and it's 3 inches below the ground, so it's -3. Here is example number 2. Write it down, make room for the equation, make room for the table, and then we have to describe how we knew the table matched. Pause the video so you have time to do this. DJ Khaled's dog is losing 1.5 pounds a week. Right now, he weighs 16 pounds. We need to figure out which of these tables matches this story. The first thing I want to do is write the equation though. We need to figure out the beginning of this whole scenario. So in the beginning, how much does the dog weigh? And we see right here, it says right now, the dog weighs 16 pounds. So that's our y-intercept. And then he's trying to lose 1.5 pounds a week. So our slope, if he's trying to lose weight, that's negative, and then 1.5. So let's write our equation really quick. Y equals -1.5, because that's how much we're losing, x, and then plus 16. So the first thing I want to do is look at how do I know which table matches my story? Let's look for the y-intercepts. So I'm looking for a y-intercept of 16. Here, the y-intercept is not 16, so it's not this table. Here, the y-intercept is 16, the y-intercept is 16, the y-intercept is 16. So it's one of these 3. Now we need to see which one is decreasing or going down by 1.5. He's trying to lose 1.5 pounds every week. So if I do 16 minus 1.5, do I get 32? No, that doesn't make sense. If I do 16 minus 1.5, do I get 14.5? I do. Let's double check this last one. If I do 16 minus 1.5, do I get 0? No way. And so this is the table that matches that story problem. Let's keep going. This next part is not in your notebook, but feel free to jot down any notes in example 2, because this is still example number 2. This one is we're going to figure out what the graph is. It's the same word problem. So again, we'll go over how we figured out the equation. He's losing 1.5 pounds. That's the movement that's happening. And he's losing weight, so it's going down. And then right now, he weighs 16 pounds. So the beginning of the whole scenario, he weighs 16 pounds. So let's go ahead. Y equals negative 1.5x plus 16. All right, so the first thing I want to do, I like to look and see which of these have a y-intercept of 16. I love to start with my y-intercept because it is the beginning. This one has a y-intercept of 16. 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 So that doesn't help us eliminate. The next thing I want to look at is my slope. My slope is negative. It is decreasing. So we just want to look and see which of these graphs are decreasing. If I look at this graph, it is increasing. So this is not the graph that matches. If I look at this graph, it is also increasing. It is not the graph that matches. This one is decreasing. That's good. This one is also decreasing. That's good. The last thing we want to look at is after 1 week, he should have lost 1.5 pounds. So in 1 week, he should be 14.5 pounds. And let's see where that happens. This is at 1 week. So we're going to look. Here's the point. Is that 14.5? Yeah. In 1 week, he's 14.5 pounds. This is good so far. Let's look at this one. In 1 week, it looks like 15.5 pounds. And so this one does not match. This is the graph that matches that word problem. Here is example number 3. Go ahead and copy down the word problem, the equation, and then you're going to sketch the graph at the end. So feel free to pause the video now to get all of that into your notebook. This is the beginning of example 3. It's about the tables. You're not going to write this down in your notebook, but feel free to take any small notes to the side for example number 3 if you want to. Alex has 15 things to do on his to-do list. Every hour he does 3 things. So let's think about what is our slope and what is our y-intercept. So how does everything begin? At the beginning of this scenario, he has 15 things that he has to do. So we know our y-intercept is 15. Every hour he does 3 things. So does that mean he's adding 3 things to his to-do list, or he's taking away 3 things from his to-do list? If he's doing 3 things, he's actually taking away things on his to-do list. So our equation is y equals negative 3x plus 15. We have to figure out which table matches this story. So I always look at the y-intercept first. We need the point 0, 15. This is a 0 in this table. Oh, this one has it. Oh, this one does not have it, so it's definitely not this one. This one has it. This one has it. Okay, now let's look at the slope. It says every hour he does 3 things. So our table should be going down by 3. If I look here, this is going up by 3. So that's definitely not that one. I'm not adding to my to-do list. I'm taking away. This one is going down by 15. We're going down by 3, so it's not this. This one is going down by 3. And so this is the table that matches our to-do list. Now we want to figure out which graph matches. So again, if you remember the equation, y equals, if he's doing 3 things on his to-do list, he's checking things off, so it's going down. And then he's starting with 15 things, so that's my y-intercept. I want to look at all these graphs I'm looking for a y-intercept of 15. Yes. 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 Okay. Now I want to look at my slope. It is decreasing. Which of these are decreasing? This one is decreasing. That's good. This one is also decreasing. That's good. This one is increasing. So this is not our graph. This one is increasing. So this is not our graph because we're decreasing in the amount of tasks we have to do. Now I want to remember after 1 hour, he had 12 tasks left because he's decreasing. So we're looking for the point 1 comma 12. So here's 1. Is it 12? It's definitely not. It's 14 point something. So let's look at this one. 1. Are we at 12? We definitely are. So this is the graph that matches that word problem. Make sure this graph got into your notebook. Now I would love for you guys to do the Socrative practice. It's multiple choice. Here are the directions on how to get there. Just go to Google, type in Socrative student. Click on the first link. It's going to say student login Socrative, and your screen should look like this. Your room name is Whitaker 294. And then please use your real name, first and last name. So I would type Catherine and then Whitaker to get started. And then just a quick reminder, you have a 3.2 quiz tomorrow. Good luck with everything. Reach out to me if you need anything for help, or Mrs. Brandt, or Mrs. Cope.